Our last speaker for this session is Margaret Morton, who's known to many of us in the room. She's the Manager and Senior Clinical Research Coordinator for the Internal Medicine and Dementia Research Unit and Queensland Medical Education Officer, this is a mouthful, Margie, for Geriatric Medicine Advanced Training for Consultant Geriatricians. Margie is a clinical nurse, graduated from the Princess Alexandra Hospital in '94. She holds a Bachelor of Education, a Bachelor of Nursing Science, and holds a graduate diploma in emergency nursing. Margie has worked in the industry of clinical trials for the last 22 years and over the years has been appointed to various consultancy groups. Margie's clinical practice is in the field of dementia research, and today she's going to I'll give us a talk entitled Caught in the Crossfire. Thanks very much, Margie.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. My presentation this afternoon is from a CRC, Clinical Research Coordinator's perspective. The reality of a clinical trial is what happens at a site. CRCs and site staff stand on the front line of each trial. We understand what it takes to enrol patients, to establish trust and appreciation and inspire retention. And there are different perceptions of what a CRC does and what our industry is about. When somebody asks me, what do you actually do, Marg? It's really tricky to try and explain. I have tried to up here. Some light was shed on our industry 2 years ago when all of a sudden the news of phase 1 COVID clinical trials was flashed across newspapers and the media. The industry came together very quickly and vaccines were made available in record time, and I'm sure we can do the same. So what does our job entail? Our responsibilities are delegated to us by the PI, who is responsible for the accountability of the trial. The responsibility of all the delegated aspects of a trial may rest with either one CRC or a team, depending on the size of the site. And CRCs are conducting trials every single day, so to include their expertise, their experience and their insights throughout the process of a trial can only improve the delivery of that trial and support a positive impact on the experience for each participant. Every trial has a strong team of vendors and partners, and due to the increased complexity and technology of trials, the number of partners and vendors and their processes have changed with advancing technologies. As has been the experience of many sites and demonstrated in publications by the Society of Clinical Research Sites, the Association of Research Professionals, and Trancelerate, onboarding the increased number of vendors, each with their large volumes of new technology, has resulted in sites being overburdened by training and learning, operating and managing multiple portals and systems, taking away time from our recruitment and management of the trial. I think one of the most challenging systems for dementia trials is in relation to cognitive assessments. Not only is there a large number of assessments involved in a visit, but there is now an absolute reliance on laptops and tablets to enable staff to conduct these assessments. This is a list of assessments we are currently conducting for these visits for one of our trials. And when that laptop fails to turn on or freezes mid-assessment, begins to do an upgrade in between your assessments, won't progress to the next question of the assessment, or progresses too slowly or too quickly, or does not accept a password or results in an error notification, the assessments and the entire visit for that patient comes to a standstill. This is particularly challenging when you have the participant sitting in front of you and the help desk does not answer or goes to a voicemail, or they can't assist you and they need to escalate the issue. The implications of the failure of systems can be grave. The extended or failed visits, the inconvenience and loss and trust of the participant and the carer, which reflects more on the site than a vendor or the sponsor. There's then decreased confidence by the staff of a site and the participant, and increased protocol deviations because you haven't completed the assessments, reduced recruitment, reduced retention, and overall increased workload for the site. Even with paper assessments, there can be delayed data entry. They need to be transcribed back onto a tablet, scanned or uploaded to a portal. And oftentimes we need to contact multiple people with these issues, who then contact multiple people. So we end up with mass miscommunications and multiple communications. The burden in managing multiple systems and ongoing failing systems has a huge impact on the CRC and the site, who then end up caught in this crossfire between trying to coordinate a trial effectively and efficiently for the best outcomes for the study participant and the sponsor, and the frustration of inefficiency that these systems can generate. And communication is the key, or part of the key, and understanding how decisions impact on a site and a patient. That's critical for the success of a trial. Unfortunately, no more face-to-face investigator meetings means that we have lost a collective voice as clinical trialists. And so this means our ability to discuss components of a clinical trial with an international cohort of peers is no longer an option. And this is where it was possible to talk about trial design, the number of assessments, the range of vendors, the difficulties that sites face in attempting to conduct increasingly complex trials, where various parts of the trial are outsourced to any number of vendors, each of whom have their own specific and demanding training, quality checks and processes that each staff member has to follow. What concerns the CRC and a site most is how this impacts then on our patient cohort and the relationship that they maintain with our site. It's critical for the recruitment and the potential retention of these patients. Having adequate backup solutions when systems fail that support the site and support the participant, or one system rather than multiple systems, are in great need of discussion. Sites work very hard to make the trial experience a rewarding one and need the support of the sponsors, the CROs and the vendors. We understand that dementia is a really tough gig for our patients and our carers, and we certainly value their participation in a clinical trial. We acknowledge they're part of our team. So we celebrate things like birthdays and milestones in a visit, the 50-week visit or a 100-week visit with morning teas. We supply a certificate in gratitude for their participation in a trial, and we certainly value their participation. This is a 50th anniversary that we celebrated as well. In conclusion, I'd like to share with you some other activities of clinical research coordinators. At the end of a trial, and this is clinical research coordinators' craft, at the end of the trial there's quite a lot of pathology left or items left over from a study. So not only can we wave a magic wand and we can jump through a hoop, but with these leftover items we can recycle all forfeited things. So from vacutainers and tube tops, we can make some very attractive necklaces. From a pathology box insert, we can make a very elegant evening bag and makeup kit. And from these pipettes, a very unique desk art form. And just a little bit of trivia, did you know that you can chill a bottle of champagne from room temperature to icy cold in just 6 minutes in a -80-degree freezer? And lastly, the leftover lab supply box can be crafted into a beautiful canteen for cutlery. Thank you for listening. Thank you.
Margie's running away. She doesn't want to be asked anything. Thank you. It's a lovely talk, really insightful, and I'm sure that there are a lot of people in the room that can relate to all of those issues. Are there any questions for Margie? No.